I'm the king, I'm the king, I'm the king.
Yeah.
There's a time, the Kabaka, I think, had been a bit down and we had allergies or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There's a day he walked into Capital Shoppers. And I think it even made the news and all of that. He didn't have to come saying, I'm the king, I'm the king.
I'm still alive.
He's the king. And he was just there shopping and picked a few groceries, but he's the king. He doesn't have to announce. And the supermarket came to a standstill, and everyone was giving way, and others wanted to pay his bill. Others were prostrated. But if you find someone in the market claiming he's the king, shouting, I'm the king, do you know me? I'm the
probably
king.
not.
Then that is what they call powerless power.
Yeah,
Real power
Might
is,
even have lost it because you might equate that kind of a guy with a guy who's lost his marbles. I mean,
yes. So real power is silent. Real power doesn't make noise. Real power is
empowers.
Thank you. That's what I was about to use. That the purpose of power is not to step; it's to lift.
Yeah.
You get. I mean, isn't that what our Lord taught us? It seemed very powerless. I mean, you were on telling me how some of his disciples wanted to call down fire and thunder. I was like, well, if I need angels, just like that, they're here.
And nothing used to disturb me also. Like when he says this temple, I can build it up in 3 days. Of course, he was metaphorically speaking, but he had the ability.
Even the reality,
Even as I watched the Passion of the Christ and these guys, I felt, man, Jesus should have first
that one
come
didn't make
off.
you cry?
1 minute.
Should have first come off the cross a little bit and first demonstrated the power. But the ability to hold back. And focus on the goal and not lose it. Many of us as men, we lose it, and you take your eye off the prize and you lose it. You have a tantrum, you shout at your kid, you scold, you tell someone off, and after that you have a sense of guilt because you've abused your power. Like, I shouldn't have. But Jesus held his power back, had every ability to turn the stones into bread or whatever, but humbled himself with all that power.
So now let's go to the second thing, which is sex. And clearly sex needs power. But now you've seen how many powerful men currently.
Sex needs power from who?
Sex, you need power to have sex.
From God.
As a man or as a woman? Okay, fine.
So
let the man be there by his point, Mama.
So you see the thing about powerful men. You see powerful men falling over very small things, like sex with a maid.
And how did he live this?
And now we're living in the Me Too movement. Things have changed. You're following what is happening with Gillian, what's that lady, Epstein's girlfriend. And when you look at the man's little book of art, Donald Trump is there, Bill Clinton is there. We know Bill Clinton and his proclivity. You see people right now. The Prince of England has been stripped of his titles. He has lost power because of sex. So you can't tell me those two things are not connected.
Which prince is this?
Prince Andrew.
Andrew, yeah.
He's losing power because of sex, and he's also now losing influence.
Yeah.
The Man U fans are currently crying over Mason. So we are seeing here that people of power tend to be tripped by sex. How does a solid jammer deal with this? Because Ronnie, with your sense of humor, your connections, if Mrs. Habasa does not know this,
access,
people have been throwing themselves at you, and you don't look like someone throws themselves at to die. No, you got the look. So tell me, you've been also Jimmy. How are you doing this? How are you balancing this thing to make sure?
Man, when I bought this shirt, the guy told me a slim fit. I think that's what has deceived you to think I've been gymming. But
so you see, we're living in that world where power causes people to abuse people sexually, and then eventually becomes a trap that causes these people to lose power. How does a solid Jama walk this journey?
So you see, the thing is, in fact, it's so hard to talk about these three separate of each other because they are just all intertwined there, because you see, when someone has money gives people options.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth.
When you have options and the ability to choose, yeah, when you're broke, you don't have options. You
can't afford.
You
Can't
have
someone say
what
that
what is available.
if you're broke, you can be very pure, very, very righteous.
Yeah.
Easy.
Exactly. In fact, some of you are so holy because
Yeah,
you don't
bro.
have options. You can't afford to sin. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you
have no business. You're too poor to have
where
business.
people go to sin for, they have gone out to the clubs or they have gone out to what concert. You couldn't buy the ticket. Yeah, so you are broke. Okay. Now, when you have money,
broke to sin, huh?
money then gives you options. And to have options is when you enter the restaurant and you read the menu. Yeah, and you
right
read
side.
it from the right.
From the left side.
From the left going to the right. No, it's
You read from the left going to the right.
Aha. But broke guys, you first read from the money side.
The right
You read
side.
from the right, you're like, what is this? You go down, then you say, sato, then you extrapolate and say, cassava. Then you see, yeah, but the guy who has options says, yeah, so you're chicken, you're Indian or whatever. Now, when you have options give you power. You have that sense of power. Yeah, the power to choose. Yeah, and now that starts to get to people. You find a man had one wife and he was happy until he got money and the power. Then now he starts to have options. He can now upgrade or whatever, and that's where the folly starts to come in, where you think you can you can choose, you can, but at the end of the day, quite frankly, all these three, it's just your ability to restrain, to hold back. Sex is all around us, so everything is sexed up. Opportunities are all around you. Yeah,
They have multiplied.
They have
over the
multiplied.
past
It's
decades.
become easier. Pornography, for example, is now the fingertip. Back in our days, yeah,
You had to take a journey.
if you were to access porn, it was a if you had to plan it
As
out.
in, you had to know I am really
Yeah.
going out to get this.
Because you'd have to go, I don't know which cafe, what. Some of them had cubicles, or they were DVD, I think they were even VHS. And it was called the Blue Movie. Now everything is just accessible at the touch of a finger, or, so everything has become so available. Yeah. And at the end of the day, my message to a solid jammer, yeah, is whether you get the money or you get the power, however available the sex is, your ability to refrain, to hold back, is really going to determine the kind of man and the worth that you're going to have, the kind of legacy you're going to leave behind. Big men have gone, and you hear, it was a woman. Generals have died at the hands of the least suspecting candidate, and you're like, what did she? Was there some monkey tricks she was doing from the chandelier or where, which made the man, and it just baffles you,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think, as a solid jammer, the power to refrain, the power to keep your zip up, the power to not wield that power, so to speak, to hold back, the power to have options and not have to make noise about it, is where the real, it's all a play of words, but it's where the real power is at. So, yeah, I don't know if I answer you or
Yeah.
Wow.
Powerful stuff.
I don't know even how to continue on that.
Yeah.
But Ronnie, I think the final question that I'll ask you as a father of daughters: what is the purpose of a man?
That's it. This
Because
guy's too deep.
you're going to connect all these things.
Mm.
What's the purpose of a man?
So what's the purpose of a man?
Because now people have options. A man gets born, wakes up a few years later, he says, no,
I
I'm
feel like a what?
like a woman.
Tree.
I have to speak to that.
So I believe, God has created all of us, and He's created us unique, and we all have a purpose of value that we bring to the table. And the sooner, for most people, I don't know what percentage, very few people find their purpose early enough to even have that impact. There are some who find it either they fall on it or it's deliberately orchestrated by the people who are raising them, and kudos. But many of us are still on a discovery purpose, and every time you just discover something small. But at the end of the day, I think your purpose, when something is created, there is a manufacturer. And the manufacturer has a reason for which he created that particular thing. This is a microphone. I can use it as a hammer to hammer a nail, but that's not its purpose. Its purpose is to amplify our voices and go through this little gadget, and the people will be listening. So what am I saying? You need to return back to the manufacturer who made the guy who made the car. The guy who made, there's a reason why he made you, and he made you a certain way. Even though they are cars are different. Some cars are made to drive over
ramps.
Those ramps. And my car has gone over that ramp without an issue. Your car has failed. But yours may have been built for speed. On our way back home, when we hit the highway,
it is true.
You might just let me bite the dust.
Just go.
And
so like you think I've been raptured.
So exactly. And I've seen cars. We came from a function the other day, and I was in a Land Cruiser stepping on it, and there was a guy on the team in a Mercedes Benz. I have a newfound respect for Mercedes Benz.
You hadn't yet?
Man, I mean, I was stepping on it,
and he left you.
And I felt, and he was behind, so he was letting me lead. He had power, by the way. He was restraining. He was controlling himself, and because
like a father letting the son win.
And we had a chat group where we were, people were posting pictures of the function, until at one point he posted and said, Bachali, and I said, this one who is talking is behind me, my friend. The guy just pulled out and stepped on it. I honestly chased.
Until
the guy, the Land Cruiser began shaking. I said, the people inside the Land Cruiser may start getting concerned, but how competitive. I stepped on that, but the guy consumed the hills. Like, I'm telling you, I think by the time I reached Masaka, he was in one gear. I just said, So what am I saying at the end of the day? Different cars are built. The manufacturer had a different plan, and that goes back to you as a solid jammer. You will never truly discover your purpose until you go back to your manufacturer, and find out what he designed you for, and what he called you to be, and he will call out those things in you because he has empowered you, and so you truly just discover your purpose on your knees before the manufacturer. You pray about it, and he starts to open doors. He starts to orchestrate things in a certain way. He starts to bring people in your lives, things that don't come easy to you. You start to chill, and before you know it, you're living your purpose.
Awesome stuff.
The end of the story.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. There is nothing to add except, Lawrence, you're going to tell us about solid jammers. But even as we get into that, I'm excited about the Golf and Goals trip with Solid Jammers. That is going to happen on the 3rd of June. We are taking a road trip.
Oh, wow.
All the way to southwestern Uganda, and will be hosted by Amos Wekesa. So it's all someone to get men midway through the year to just travel with their spice.
One man and one spouse?
Yes. And
who is yours? Because you could come with someone else's spice.
Hey.
So one and the important one. So we're really excited and want to just let you know that please, if you are up for this, just begin to prepare and watch the space for details. But tell us about the Solid Jammers Brethren Circle, the physical space that we are setting up.
So Solid Jammers, as you've heard,
and the romance coach that is very needed.
So
Ronnie, we are looking for a
You
romance
guys are
coach.
tackling hard things.
We are looking for a romance coach.
Solid Jama's podcast is an interface.